edu baby mpo no amato breso a omone na mafiefie mu na oma kache ma menom se okwa akotoma broni no ya ma matches ya ma kerosene wa ko take decision a e be cheche for about 4 years no cre in the past 2 elections MPP the New Patriotic Party Amanyoku position on decision making for elections in this country they say wo koto aba say wo die ntia oto aba ni amanipa na oto ama no yen yegidi say between yen the New Patriotic Party any another party ayere ne ko elections and ayere ne ko contest any yen kendini Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia wo de ne toto NDC for kendini former President Mahama ho a obvious say former President Mahama ni swadi ho wo mo my way isa the motivation to do anything extraordinary for the growth of this country is almost absent because onya ho kwan be member of parliament onya ho kwan be deputy minister wabedi minister we the vice president we the president dia obetumi aye aboa bia no wa ye wie. And so the question is what else is left nkase se oya ontumi aye eno nam eno hyehyebo na tele bia wotie nsem ni bi waka obi say akonwa ya wo pri omo a woni omo ko nyina free PNC CPP PPP DDP all the political parties nyina ene MPP Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia omo no mo ko nyina wo pe eni nipa a wonya ho di president pen wo ka no bi ndi president ye nti ade na wo san ba ye ho e be hye ebo ka kire yen say ade ye de ma wo say ye no wan ye ba wo ba obeye. It doesn't add up. I find it very disrespectful, very 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 disrespectful to the people of Ghana. Say obetumi say nya sa kokodo na ba ye ho kra say ensanso to abama no cause ye ma wakonya no ubu ye nimtia utwi ye die niema ye no kan ye say uba ye ma ye no wan ye ama ye. In fact wan ye ama ye no kra ye say uja ye sa kra keke usan etutufo ma ye edru baby doctor for the nurse for catch we say show market you say na bo mo wo se no pe na obeya de anka mo to obeti oni omo ni negotiation bia ehiafo ma I call nursing training college I call teacher training college omo nya bibi e de show bobutom tumi nya encouragement ko school no uji free omo nsem nurse for ni teacher for wie school 2013 2014 2015 2016 uji omo tena fie omo so a ofa omo no wa ye adwuma 1 whole year. Was a minister ministry account, it's not 3 months. And here for ma a year GSS 1 person who secondary school was a the cut off a child age away from it's an say you need school there, you do better. Almost what or mano yamiadom cut off and uncount moment to me remono school fees in the board thing into to school or markets in a fear. Or minor we and a passa and can dundum here for 3 years, na Ghana at the sumo. Yenya kania Monday. Ni edum no addiction Tuesday ye be so a it's a Thursday and a Friday. In the week of 5 days no ye nya kanea 1 day eti ye na nya no 2 days de aka nyina ni edum kanea enwuma guye enkrofo ebusuafo no momba ehwe omo nkwa e wo hospitals sambre ni mukura na kanea no udundum no na wasanso ato kanea ne bo so ye kan ya wo ka kire yen se ye hwe na ne bo den a e men charge yen phones edu bebe no what buying penny for catching say hwe na say kitchen and I say mukana say ayahia mayan ya yempie mfrim emrante ne maba enya ndwuma anye no omusu frɛ wo no wo ene wo penny for catch rom say omu kon room no omu kɔ sɛ bo mbegu kwan ho no omu nton empo omu ebeya omu kwatwa grass no omu fa grass no mbegu kwan ho na penny for beto edru baby no ofa oman ne sika sɛ wo de kwakoyen confirm na mrante ne maba enya biaye embre so yes ye pese ye hu bibia confirm no wono o se confirm ne tu ayira ekoboke na faso. You put this country through pain and torture. Na de ya enye se ebi ohaw ne bebrese ba yo ekwan ya ohaw ne bebrese ne ba ye no ode ye fa so no enu nti ene ma ne ye ya se wo sanso ba ye wo se ye sanso to aba mo ye gitum ohaw ne amane de wo ye kandini obetumi hye bi na mum ensonsone ye wo kandifo papa any kendini bone ho the say former president Mahama ne say kendini bonnet se former president mama o how na bebrese ba was a minti obia enye dia woka na mitie was won your mampanin da e men kama asem eduru baby krampo no o say waye odwanfu no today the same person comes back to us and said we should vote for him okasi ento obama no so no enso oka bibi pot ya chen ahye nkran ama eni da so obi o onenam kwanchen entro ne nkontompo kasa a nokre nim de se nokre na okeka che riding on the emotions of the people na wo kana obisa na wo se o abato de emre du a ye kan tro kaka na ye kan nokre kaka na ye de film se de bia ebenya vote ono ane no muton the former president said that we in the MPP believes that esa wo to aba wonya nyina so to aba ma Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia because ye gidi se ne ni swade hu ne da so wo ma oman we no esokra sen omoni omokwa akensie no ye gidi se na ho fama ene na ho keka ne akwan ofaso de obuo ne Ghana ni bia di nsanwoso e kan ye bom e driving you towards the development of this country no ye gidi se e hye nkran ye gidi se e kwai ofaso a ene yi yentumi nka se nioma nyina ye pepe kope enso dodo na yetumi ye no oni ye di hu nkomo kire se aha na yetumi aba bedru ye mo ho ban we de megitum saka akra se yetumi ye nyendru ho ye na oboabo ya no a o che ye se we can be whatever it is that we want to be if we put ourselves together as a people. That is a leader you can trust. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is a leader you can have confidence in. With your mampeni abediche e kwai ofaso a wabɔ no homode aso mampeni abediche wodo toto o mampeni dada John Dramani Mahama embra no ya abediche mu enso so na bebre wo mu. In fact, there is a video next week mebo amahwe o mampeni dada John Dramani Mahama spokesperson tamano ya vice president ye bisa ne say wo boss na djuma pon ye wabe mu ene say osu on de okọ social functions okọ speech and prize giving day okọ anniversaries and more mampeni. That is what was said by the former president. Empo yanhwe no o san by hot 22 of catch and say wo de we spare driver. He said it okaso ye spare driver in 2016 IEA debate on mampeni John Dramani Mahama catch so de spare driver ntinka be ya yento abama no me the main driver no share ye bobebre on di ba kompo so o de yakayaka de no de share meku no de share ni enen nyoma bebre na ban yi ba yetumi aye dodo na so na aka ye nyanyen wie ampa school nsem ya pegem yen ayare sem nsem ya pegem ya kwan ya pegem ya railways ya airport nsem ya pegem okọ ye nuanom ne ye maame no momo mpo no ye fisheries ene coastal areas landing sites no man ya pegem nyoma bebre ena ban eguso a ye ba dodo na aka sese ye ene me no kase wo hwe de ekoso wiase afa na nyina utumi se wiase afa na nyina dwodie nsem ne sikasebro atosi nkakra ene na me kan de ekoso Nigeria you say naira the worst currency in the world. US 3 days ago omo ya interview omo ankasa America fo ankasa no muton kase COVID any Russia Ukraine dey how man no American president ebie na no e kasa same way. United Kingdom UK ya ankasa yebusuafo UK for in the year 2022 within 6 months no master prime ministers be mienu ana miensa because everywhere in the world we're going through difficulties and challenges and they nanado danko ekufa Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia aboaboa ya no pia kakra in the midst of all the difficulties and challenges ye faga na fomba wonwumem in the midst of all the difficulties and challenges ya kwansen aban ya abetwem nyina in the 8 years in the midst of all the difficulties and challenges you're making sure say here for ne sika for me to me rescue them akọ school difficulties bia anywhere in the midst of difficulties and challenges we are making sure say every single public sector worker is being paid when they are supposed to be paid. That is the biggest difference between Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the MPP government versus John Mahama and the NDC government. John Mahama, His Excellency, and the NDC government. It's a big difference. The Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia can say the ayano yembo humbai na de aka yenya ye no yegyina yenka yenhumbom na yemfo man nhyɛ nsa no mboa yen na yentumi mpem enko yenim. This is the next chapter show ene ye bedi industrialization infidie dwuma ehon komo ekwan bempo na industrialization etumi fa so e affect yen asoman. In the next 1 hour I'll crave your indulgence say obeka me ho na ya to ankomodie so ye ba wie na ankomodie no you will see the difference between the MPP and the NDC. Why in the ban of industries ene mfidi adwuma ene ekwan ye befa so ye bie ye man nim na embrante ne meba enye adwuma ya hwan ena otumi ebo ne ho moden aha no krenko na yeka bebia asem danko na yedeto ye ntwantro ye nkasa ntia pani bia ye nkasa embu pani bia enemutia ye nkasa kasa basabasa ewo the next chapter show so fact only no gimmicks woba ebehwe Ghana and wiase afa na nyina ye kind industrialization na industries a the key thing ne say wo your mind na say wo ka say wonko a wotena wo baby na wabo bra it's almost impossible nti ukoso ba fam oni aman bedi nkomo oni aman bedi dwa ne ade nti de wo no wo de mo oman foforo no no so etua oka na sika no de tua oka no nso de akọ oman foforo so na de awuhia wuni no wakwakoto efisa oman no ho nti it's understandable, it's quite understandable say ye wo oman bi because ne oman de ne fidi adwuma mu nsam nko yie okra ne ama bebre Ghana we are highly an import dependent country. Let's just say oman no ye nema bebre na ye krefia bochire bebre na ye krefia bochire enu nti na mbra ne ye campaign 2016 ye kai say no, the fundamentals of the economy is weak and the fundamentals of the economy ni na say what the how ne wo obi bia wo kra bia fia bochire eba oman ni mu a basically what you are doing ne say embre bia no oman na wo kra wo ne o free ho no bibi ka o mo pe ebebe ka because wo no just a odan mo just wakomo no wakoji bibi free ho ba enti mo be kaya right from independence between embra now ye mampeni odi kan ba ye a lot of industrial drive. In fact at the time ye free independence abepem somewhere in 1988 e wo my way mu no na Ghana is one of the most industrialized countries you can find in West Africa, maybe Africa. In this country Ghana here. Why? Because now the country wanted to ensure say ye self-sufficient and I say ye self-sustaining. Niyama bebre na yanka say be den ye be ye we. Because if you don't do that, what it means is that embre bia no oni a mindful for na e dele o pe sa o mind ni sika na ade na akodiga and ehun sunsanso na ye bebre. I'll show you. For example, Ghana ye niyama ye krefi Ghana hako Turkey about $98.4 million. But the ye krefi Turkey eba Ghana about 421 million. Ye top pasta chidin cry Talia and ye to a free dodona ye to free Turkey insulated wire ye to iron structures ye to iron blocks if you ho e be free Turkey ye to a citri if you ho ye to chocolate if you ho ye crass cement e be free Turkey wheat seed oil mixed mineral chemicals normal be brain na dey free Turkey about 421 million. The change na say empem bia sa nneoma ye free Turkey e be san wo my way mu no e se ye san ko to be free Turkey ne de ba but Turkey omun DCD eso oman no nneema na ye kra ba ye na ye beton ye no ye DCD ne di dwa enti nipa na okra pasta e free Turkey ba Ghana no obedu Ghana ha no ye to no CD ene ye DCD tua ne ka nneema na sa eso san so ko Turkey no ko fe bi ba miwa oni sa Turkey fo sika na omudi ni bi because ye na edidi dwa enti Turkey fo say o beto ade efiri ye ho na o free Ghana de a ene all the dollars na be den e be kra aba because ye ngi seed no enti the oton pasta no seed na wo call ne shop no ko toy no obekeksa ne nyina into dollars enti okra seed bebre obeso ko top pasta biom san ba boni dollars enti na okuchi na wakopɛ dollar na ɔde akɔ Turkey na wakɔkra ne amana ba okɔye no dia okra dollar ne say me dollar ya me kra yi kofi mensa pɛ ama pɛ afia pɛ enti enne no mesesa dollar ba ku bia ama 3 cedis obaje ana wonje eyeye na kofi mensa eni ho ama eni ho na ye wo nko a anka ontumi nka nje se obaje ana wonje enti de obeya ne say oba say oh wo de ma me 20 and ama me 2 cedi ama me 1 cedi no de ama na wokɔ but because the demand in the doors nipa dodo na per dollar no me de akɔ ama no na akɔkɔ kra ne ama benti embre bia no na dollar no sombo ana dollar no na ho ode no ekɔsoro prekopɛ esense ne a esese eye no enti nipa no kura dollar ne say nipa bebre pay enti se me de be ma wo de a just a woto no 5 cedis untumi yan wo hwe because ese wotumi sesa sika no na wokoto niama ne free amano no eden eba enti na wo so wage wokọ turkey no last month wokọ pasta na turkey omoton pasta no $10 enti wo sesa sika na onya ebi $100 no wokọ pasta ne mako 10 na wo de ba Ghana $10 wo bedu Ghana no utua duty bibia ewie no na wo so beton pasta ne mayen $12 enti wo fa so eye $2 ese wo san come back to Turkey na wo to pasta ye den eba ba ye to sika no ye to pasta no wo ho in cedis enti wasan so bobo sika nyina no wenya $120 120 what the fan say 1200 cedis because what's the dollars no at 10 cedis now 10 cedis here was sani and they ukura 1200 cedis but uto niama no 1000 cedis and I say $100 and so we come back wo be kono afede de ton pasta wo take ne say yen ton pasta no $10 bi ye ton $20 why because in the year 2022 countries bit say Turkey inflation acquire up to about 80%. What it means is that adia ba ku bia no moton bia no esan be bon ho empre ohamu chichemu awotwe enti na de ne $1 afede be $1 80%. Enti all of a sudden pastor na okoto the $10 no ukọ Turkey na ukodi om say oh yen ton the $10 bi mu sisi yen ton $18 why because omukrom ho inflation eko 80%. Enti Ghana asembia nto ye ohaw bia maaye ntokọ bia nsi haye but ohaw ato oman na oni omudi dwa no enti ade na woto ho no omato so niema mienu na besi de di kan esesa wo san be fie na $100 na wo de koye na sisi a enso enti because sisi ba koye $18 sisi a wo hia $180 na wo san be hwehwe dollar na woto 80 ka ho ase wotumi akọ Turkey akoto the same pasta na woto buy no so you realize that and ya wo man no how bia bemo Turkey ho no na how aye den ato omo but ade na wo beto free ho Ghana no ne bo akoso nti ese wo pesika ko eden ekoto nti wo kwa ya wasesa nti wase abe $3 dollar no kwa akwa no say oh da bi o ena no buy me de ma 10 cedis but enne you know amape adwoape akoso yape nti omo mo pedoso nti me say wo ma me 12 cedis ya me fama eye na nka mani ho adwo ni ho akoso ni ho ena omo hia saska na kontumi nka sasa me yeden enkyerɛ nti ama dollar no ayeden asombo eye na nka wonso okoye na nka Turkey ho no ade ne bo enkosoro ena wo the same $100 ne koto ya nka wonso nsan ma ne ho e mo no so nsan yeden nka se watuma yeden amawo enti wase akopesi de ni bi aka ho ena wakoto no at 12 cedis ena wo de ko Turkey wakoto ni amana sen aba the same pasta eduna na wakoto e 10 na wakoto e but you see esan say Turkey for inflation cost runti enei one koto na $100 biom what the $180 into the bag na untumi nsan ton no $12 say na ton na no biom just how the bi aka no aton be $20 so you realize that bim pa wa ton ade no fast one pon kosoro ye but esa no how akoso wo take nti e bi aba be kan nti enei say obi bisa wo say obi ka kire wo say ye to bomb wo Ukraine Russia endru Ghana nti memo mo nka kire wo say Russia Ukraine e won so so na or dada and I explain to you quickly. Yato emu efi Brazil. Yato esiche fi Brazil. Yato poultry nioma fi Brazil. Yato alcohol nioma fi Brazil. Yato nioma bebre fi Brazil. 296 million. Ene ye pay fi your man we mu. E ko Brazil ko kan nioma ba. Brazil nioma omo to free ye ho e 9.1 million pe. Nti embre bia ye here almost 200 million na eni ho na de akoto nioma fi Brazil ya den. Aba. Russia maybe atokwa no wono ye to wheat efi Russia ye to nitrogenous fertilizers fi Russia ye to craft paper fi Russia ye to hot rolled bars fi Russia eni niam bebre ni ye to fi Russia ntokwa na what Ukraine Russia no ye nto bomb no wa ha enokre enso ma me church obibi esa ne say Russia for ko ntokwa nti na me no ka sei niam bebre na wokọ wiase amansan dwa so a ye de ato Russia for so untumi ni omunye wei enti Ukraine iron na yetofi ho cold road iron na yetofi ho China niama eni omudi dwa ene ade Brazil Vietnam niama yetofi omo ni nyina no ukọ a omo say ye mo na obeto no $10 anano no ana obeto no $5 ana $20 anano no yatum adentia yatum because of Russia Ukraine war enti war no ya nto bomb ambaga na o ba omo oni omudi o say na Vietnam de ana Brazil de Russia Ukraine war for mo ben na Turkey mo ye no mudi dwa nti Russia Ukraine war Turkey for say unim say ye no ye oye bebre na ye de ye normal industries no dodo na ye tofi Russia ene ye de ba ye krom na say tumi ye de produce na waba beto na esa ne Russia ne Ukraine ntokwa nti niema ne mbase na esi ba no nti ne boa ye den aye de amaye eni nti na ye so ye niema ne boa ye den akosro Brazil eton nitrate from fertilizer from Russia Vietnam eton nitrate from fertilizer from Russia as omo de bedua mo asa omo mu na fifi na ye ya kwakoto eti so omo nya difficulties in buying these things from Russia into their country na ne boa pejape obviously mo cost of production is why they akosro no ma pass it on to us omo pass it on to us cycle no and my expenditure that no immediately so a wo dey ade ne be bo man ni mu ane bo be cost pe na say inflation so ye dey e kosro enti o hwe China say ya niema ye to free China nkwan ye 7.9 billion in a to free China from the year 2020 to almost about middle of 2023 China were basically shut down. From the year 2020 to almost middle of 2023 China was basically shut down. In fact, as we speak Rambono, China is not fully opened to the world as it used to be. Why? Because of COVID. Enti container na ye be $1,000 $1,000 and $1,300 no. Esane COVID ni some factories no almost shut it down. Ebi mu produce just at 50% capacity. Ebi mu no mu ye neoma ebia be 10 tons esane COVID nti almost so be 5 tons. Ni ade nti ukwa. Ade na nka okokoto ba $1 no. Esane so market production nti almost yatum. Yatum a ade no so ye hia asoman nti ye be de ye beto. Otoba na ebedu oman nim so ane bo be ye den. Na inflation na ye den akosro. So you realize that yen de ye ti ha yen ye boni bia ye. Yenye obia boni ye. Yenye bibia nti obia ye. But all of a sudden, you wake up one day and then challenges from another country is now affecting your economy. All of a sudden. Now say ya, me also say mu biti ye say in sembi sisi ekoso wo eposo high seas o baby ni ade ntina ships efi Asia eba Africa no kwan yanka so mo fa so de ba no na akasaka se bi sa Iran ne Israel for akasaka se nti na wa ye hu kakra intafedo mu nyina kofa kwan tenten as omo tumi abedu Africa. That led to a hike in cost of freight. Let us say ye shipping yama ne bo no ekoso than it was in the past. But Ghana yet ye baby ye boni bia ye simply because ye hia ade no efi China se ye kotonti ne yakoto ne bo aye de ba de aba ye de bedu a na ne bo na peja boni bia ye boni bia ye obi aye boni bia ye but unkra ne ma no ntina be affect o enam saade we nti ena 2016 MPP ye bo apro nyina ye ka se debi ese ye tumi reduce ekwan ya ye faso ye import ana normal dodo ye import fi abochire e bo man we mu no na dodo na ye bo modern ye wo man ni mu na only essential things are ye ntumi ye ena ye betumi akraba na eno beboa. What it means is that sika dodo a dollar dodo anka ye bepe no eso bete na ye tumi use dollar no for the critical and essential things. Enti ena we hear almost about $400 million na bosumi bi here as ye tumi akra fango ana fuel ana oil efi abrochi abagana. 400 million. Fuel is critical. Interquem bi aso bosumi bi ye tumi nya sa 400 million no ye kwa kraba. And yet dollar na omo mo kra fuel no ehia no mo de akwa fuel na ba no. So omo de cedis na ekope kwa fuel station na wonto fuel station with dollar auto with cedis. Enti dipo no oto no oboabo no a na okokra bia ba bia mu a this was some will see this into dollars into credit eso okoto dollar or so okope fuel de biba but ohia dollar into okọ dollar bia no so na okoto a obekọ no omo mpe toothpick per dollar omo mo pe toothpaste per dollar omo mo kra matches per dollar omo crash shoes per dollar enti obi a per dollar no enti ka dollar ye betumi abɔ ho ban na de ama oil for no kwa na nkomo de abananka oil no kra bo no ade atumi akɔfam no omo pre enti na dollar for no so ya to so because obi pe enti dollar no value no kɔsoro na ma osika na ho de na ba fam because ukura upeska no me wo we pe enti be se matum ompa we beje enti na matum se na mesipe be ye na nka me kura na nipa no ndo so na ye wo nko ane me nko a nka wo so tumi kira wo because kura me so be nim dia me de be na nka me dia eden me dia ma wo but se wo tumi build we industrial base ni ye na stronger. What would happen is that ebe ye den say usika sem no ebe ye tese because niam a wo kra no bete so kododo na wo be ye e wo man yim enso mu tie de sie ebra ye feel independence ye ba ye nim ni nyina ye man pani odika kwa me nkroma hyase say no esi you to be building your industrial base into a hyase so yes our industrial base ya de esisi industries in fact key industries in manufacturing, textiles, agro processing. As at December 31st, 1981, na Ghana, ye were industries ni nyina ye free 1957 no ni nyina ye intact. But a free 81 ho kono a yanom and yanom PNDC fuei ebedi yenim efisa 81 PNDC ombedi yenim pe ena ye factories na ye intact over 300 factories. Ebusiafo take note. Ghana between 1957 all the way to 1981 na Ghana ye were over 300 factories. Na muntie bibi factories we nyina were factories na on mine nankasa ena ye only factories no on mine nankasa ena ye only factories no. And this is what happened. From somewhere 1988, and NDC for shots, yes, say, Omotonton Kwame Nkrumah factories. No, then they started selling. Omotomo Mohu, into the factory they be finding at Toma Yahu, when they be finding, into name it is almost kind of state capture, no more crime. On my way, open political party, my boy from Pa, at all my Japadiamo Mo Pa, any NDC. Omu via and Sassy. Every year dying, every year my Japade ton manufacturers momo. The National Democratic Congress. In fact, Edu baby no say me so say Ghana for bebre kai. Even private individuals are oma bre mo mojeni. Ayo mo factories, any mo companies kwa no. NDC for JF mo nsem. And I'm sure a lot of people remember. Mo kai buache mattress. Penia ono ankasa ti ono ane factory ati ono ane company omugu no ejifi factory ni fi nsem okọ Ashanti region okọ Eastern region okọ Central okọ Western okọ Accra here a lot of private individuals in Nyumakra no these people they took it from them forcibly. In fact between 1988 bepem somewhere 1992 or 1993 na omaton Ghana factories nkwa be 69 omaton tono moto eno kan mbran and de chiro sorry a no omoton it say nchinam na esichiri ene nchine e wodwa so. And this is fact. Enti wonu ndo moyeye omo hwe no mu say ade ayeye asa mbra bia nta echiri enti nkofo start kasa ho ena quickly omo call parliament ena omo call pass mbra and think about, listen to this, for all the Gen Zs, for all the millennials watching us this evening. You've never heard about this. Please remember. So once upon a time, this country, Ghana, owned by ourselves on our own, we owned over 300 factories. And yet private person and only on mine Nankasa had 300 factories. And let it be put on record that the National Democratic Congress sold all these factories to themselves and their cronies. And by 1993, they had sold over 60 of these factories without any legal backing. So what they did quickly was to rush to Parliament to enact a law that will now give them the opportunity to sell the rest of the factories. In Tomo called Parliament, Omo passed them maybe a Divestiture of State Interest Act. In fact, it was very popular. Until a Divestiture Implementation Act. And basically what this act was doing was to give the National Democratic Congress and their cronies an opportunity to sell off all the state assets, all the state enterprises, Omutoni nyina internet to that's a wotie and almost say oh, we are demonstrating because we have the conscience of the nation, and for us we are for the people. They are hypocrites. They sold our factories. They sold our factories to themselves. They took our lands. They took our parents' factories. They took our parents' businesses in this country. They are hypocrites. Because they realize, say, over 60 factories are in brand Chieftaincy. Pass this new law, no, you know, they share law him. Or say, Monsha de Mamina baby, do many abre power, Besemu. Monsha Mamma Power, baby, do many abre. The Divestiture Implementation Act, established on 5th January 1993, was enacted to facilitate the privatization and divestiture of state-owned enterprises in order to promote economic efficiency, encourage private sector investment, and improve overall performance of these enterprises. Inti, yebeton o manager padie no ama ankrankre. Factories na na wo na eye adwuma mo man na e free independence no edu omo so no omo se yeba beton. Omo ton bi ebi mo de factories dey sorry. Ebi mo de fact omo bu factories dey see fie. Now the object of the committee is to implement and execute government policies in respect of divestiture. Divestiture dey yen chichemu yen pape mu yen ton yen pe be fa. The committee shall plan, monitor and coordinate and evaluate the diversities under the act. Then these companies now affair there yenya from 1957 abepe mu no. Between 1989 and 1992, before the Divestiture Implementation Act, almost passing 1993, almost 69. Not less than 60 of these companies placed on divestiture during that regime. Most of the companies were divested at very cut down prices. In fact, almost 10 factories in tomatoes and in China and in Beko. Factories are owned by the state. Almost 10 years. They sold it like tomatoes. Between 1981 and 2001, MPP bar BEM for the first time between 1981 and 2001. Now NDC for Ghana have factories, over 350 factories. 350 state-owned companies were sold by the NDC government to themselves, to their cronies and to their friends. Lest we forget about this. Lest we let this slide. We remember them. We have not forgotten about them. These same people who are here today, all sanctimonious and holy, and calling our children to join them on the streets in the name of they are protecting the state assets. You know? These people sold these 350 companies to themselves. By December 23rd, 1997, no matter even a lot more than that. These are some of the factories that this country had. And for us Gen Zs, millennials, young people that never knew, I tell you that now what textiles and garment companies will bring on my way. Agro processing companies will bring near sugar, sugar on my way. Now abaya kasa or factory or cement. Your aluminium products and on my way. And chance here they know eduane saucepan they know eduane there. They yakasa or my nakasa factories several steel products your pharmaceutical companies will bring here. Now your mine nakasa there. Chemicals and fertilizer companies, food and beverages. In fact, a lot of you don't know. But Coca-Cola bottling company, you can want some assets in this country. It was originally owned by the state before it was sold to an individual, and then it's moved on now to become what it is today. Now you assemble cars my way. In my own constituency in Mangwase, there was a railway line and there was a car assembling plant Mangwase. They collapsed it. They sold it to themselves. Timber and wood factories. Bricks and roofing sheet factories, baby. Gasem was owned by the state. Gasem I own and Gasem. Now you Ghana a buying kasa factory. Gasem. Now you Ghana a buying Ankasa factories. Kwame Nkrumah catering restaurants de baby. Hotels. Baby. Now imagine say enei sekaya wo Gasem. Your mind there, and can we did say day, and can almost yes cement ye, on my boy a sudre to some boys today. I yes, you crampono. I buy dear, say I buy Ankasa factory, you go dear, or no to make us a man fast one, but see if you the bet to me I cement and quite a man a maton day amount. Say nay, Sanka Gasam da see a dear, and a young tongue, and that's your mind there. And can yen be dear dance say at least government would have had a say in the prices than we have right now. At the moment, yen cartel ne cabal ekoso in that sector. Your friend we friend in we have no say 5 cedis so. We we no say 2 cedis cost so. A buying car now opposition for kwata omachi because omo petu minti. Ade a buying car say ente so no. O petu minti o say yemfa nkoso say be Ghana for be say akoso. But these same people are the ones who sold gasem. Gasem. Maybe a lot of you don't know, but Gasem belong to the state. In Sawom country, omutonye. Kanda GNTC, omutonye. Prestia Goldfields, omutonye. Takwa Goldfields, omutonye. Atlantic Hotel, omutonye. Abosso Glass Factory, Abosso Glass Factory, omutonye. Continental Hotel, there, your friend the Golden Tulip, and the MC Assassin Nidi, Eko Lancaster. Now, your Ghana buying there. Golden Tulip, now your Ghana buying there. Omutonye. West African Mills Company, omutonye. Tema Steel Company, omutonye. Ghana Agro Food Company, omutonye. Giho Bottling na omutonye na fede akwa na be Cola Bottling Company, Coca-Cola Bottling Company. Gioxen West African Company, omutonye. Ghana Oil Palm Development Company, omutonye. Esuchari Sugar Factory, omutonye. Bogatanga Meat Processing Factory, omutonye. Bogatanga Rice Mill, omutonye. Kanda Match Factory, Matches factories yani obi. Meridian Hotel omutonye. Star Hotels omutonye. Dia ijane se omutonto factory no omuton mo ho. Nti 31 December on de omuchema ma no chema 31 December ma no ene otwani afro yes factory de wo kade no kofa e de ma wo no webusuafo yes wo ye keda CDR wo ye CDR pani yes matches company there wona Abosso Glass no de yakofa omo cheche mo ho eton mo ho meche se na efe keke divestiture implementation che se niam divestiture eye wo my way mo no se ye kase ye ka ho asema ewieda. But it's important that if you're Gen Z, you're a millennial, if you're a young person in this country, you remember that once upon a time this country owned by ourselves over 300 companies, 300 factories. We're assembling cars, we're manufacturing glasses, we're manufacturing car tires, we own gold fields, we own Takwa, we own Prestia mines, we're manufacturing everything you can think of for this country. And the political party called National Democratic Congress, they sold each of these factories to themselves and their friends. When they finished, they didn't end there. They went to private people factories and businesses and took the factories and businesses for them. They took private people's properties, houses and lands away from them. Lest we forget, just in case, maybe you have not been told, but that is the reality. And these are the same people we are encountering today in this country. And no, and a mom and penunko for bar bemu in the year 2001 or shall say kakra. Your boy home modern na ye re-energize and ye revitalize. And ye fe, see ya ton your factories in na ye guno, ne ye nam, ne ye pe, ye kran ya mafia butchery, into shall say all putting your mind in place. Mobe kaya presidential special initiatives are targeting especially agro processing, textiles, salt, and oil palm. And he did a lot of these things, you know, all this whilst he was in government. Fufu and Twata, and propaganda ya NDC for propaganda nen try no kwe central ni ade omuye ya no motoaba editia MPP abane yekoye. From 2009 to 2016 they did nothing to continue what President Kufuor did in trying to ensure that we build a lot deliberate abide to have a deliberate policy to drive industrialization. They didn't do it. So they left everything to, you see, abide bia or what? You run a liberal market into individuals, your money, and there's no doubt about that. Abide bia, you have individuals. But if you're a government that wants to catch up, a government abaya no maya obia babeto factories makuma 350 there. If you want to catch up, you have to double up and do more than what the regular a country would do. And so you can't just sit there and say, oh, me wa liberal market it will be abaye. What deliberate strategy, what deliberate policy do you have to revitalize your industrial base? The NDC did nothing. Then when we started campaigning in 2016, after 8 years of being in opposition and the NDC doing nothing other than selling off the properties, selling off the enterprises, selling off the companies, the MPP government said, no, we have to go back to where Ghana was when it comes to industrialization. Enti ye promise say we believe say district biya ewo raw material base biya eye stronko to sa district na betumi aboa na sa district no yetuma ye mfidi ndwuma bi wo ho na mrante ne mmaba ne mmebu nso eje adwuma yeden aye. So we needed to do something. Enti ye say every district will raw material na wo no ye ne private sector ebeka bom na ya boa private sector no na wo be see factory wo ho na say your tomatoes na wudua o ma converting into tin tomatoes, say your watermelon na wudua o ma converting into watermelon juice, say your pineapple na wudua ya dey pineapple juice, and that's what we called one district one factory. This is what our manifesto said. Flagship industrial development initiatives, one district one factory, in collaboration with the private sector. The MPP will implement the one district one factory initiative. This district industrialization program will ensure an even spatial spread of industries. Nti obi a be factory o se Tema, obi a be factory o se Kumase, obi a be factory o se Takrade. Nti ya yete Damongo, ya yete Krachi, ya yete Sugakopɛ no, yenso ye de ewo mu ene de. Nti ye do afuo, yete cashew ewo bia na cashew na say because factories ni ho. Nti abai say no. Kwame Nkrumah no obi oboga, obi osutware, obi okade, obi or western region, obi or central region. That is how you build an industrial base of the country. Inti yenhwe ne sign facade ne mbra. Imagine say ye buy ye no na nka 300 factories no moton inda so wo ho. Sanka ye bi kan ho a na nka moving ko nanim. They sold all. What it means is that na ye was say anka say to aso ne ye kosei no. Esan say ye mistake e dey NDC for ba mu nti no. We nyina akosei. Afa ne ye ba be sha say free ha and say tuma bedu bebia. Ye ba bedu in 1988 no. Very daunting task. Very, very difficult task. It's your buying say, you need to crank boom, private sector beka boom. Now quickly, no, you should see a bit to me build this enterprises now. It's the one district one factory was designed to support the establishment of at least say anya shekrampo no, you bet to see factory back home our district BMO. And since the beginning of the program, not to date, no anya shekra nyamia daroma 321 one district one factory projects there. A buying any ankrankre etumi aka bom e de aba ebi wo ho a or the business proposal aba aban the business idea nie e be cost me 1 million cedis me wo 500,000 aban say okay any GCB UMB mo me ma ADB mo me ba ne besia 500,000 fanka ho no fanko ye adwuma no na onfa mbie adwuma no na all ye adwuma no no tua ne kakrakra obi so wo say aban ade na me ba be ye no me kra ne me bie fia brochi aba machines amene be ba no me wo sika be 200,000 bia metumi dia ye e dan no ne ade ba machines no ehu duty ni ade ne bo e na be 2 million se wo de cheme a anka metumi de machines na ba na me de abebie adwuma no aban se ene yenko na yenfa nchew na kofa bra nti government is supporting in several ways to ensure say this private sector would thrive. As we speak, one district one factory projects are ye adwuma 169 factories. 169 factories. One district one factory project yegusu a yesi a yenwie ye 152. And in total no, government in collaboration with private sector has about 321 factories ongoing and as completed in this country. And factories ni bi wo ho a factory bi e wo ho dada. Na obi wo ho a na ye ho ba or struggle the factory no eyegu onya ahoden na obetumi dia run a factory no into ohia aban boa na aban asodase aboa no omo no mo ye brownfield for no na aban etumi aboa na wetumi aye na dwuma no obi so wo ho a idea no wo osi o e pese me kɔ na me kɔ si shoe factory e wo ekropon e shoe factory e bi mba ekropon da e ho ekwapem no tene ye wo me nyina bepem ne until ye bie shoe fabric na me hu factory kra say ya sorry aye kɔ factory da aban say okay me boa wo aban boa wo we bie factory no eti okaka ni nyina bomu a eye adwuma na 169. For example, company bitisa kasa preko e wo dada but our spintex or ye ebia 20 cartons because ye 20 cartons a month or say oh say aban wo boa me na ye ka bomu a metumi bie another factory e wo Kumase na eno so ma ye another ebia 20 cartons aka ho aban say ene mayen support ne yenka bob ne ye nti kasa preko ye bi another one e wo ho Dako farms ye name say Dako farms na egu struggle but market no wo ho Dako farms ya ban me show wodim say Dako farms there na ka eje na so sisi ye ntumi nye adwuma biem yen kambom ne ye bibi aban Dako farms akabom ya revive Dako farms ene Dako farms ye nkoko e de bi ma KFC into chicken popcorn ne streetwise 2 ne streetwise 3 na ye to KFC no ya me adaroma Dako farms nkoko ka ho e na yeri. That is how government is working with private sector to bring back the factories that anka ye wa anka betumi be aka wan NDC photo no to bring it back. There egusu a ye nyanwie no so no e wo ho in all no 321 of these factories. Now 2018 na ye be 79 no na 21 year in operation, 41 under construction, na 17 gusu a ye prepare aba. As we speak now, Greater Accra in total no there was 64 of these factories are year juma operational, 22 are under construction. Integrated Accra were 86 of these factories. Ashanti region, 31 of the factories are operational, 27 are under construction, 58 in total. Eastern region, 27 are operational, 17 are under construction, 44. Into every region biane ne total number of factories are ewoho. The area ne the ekosu jinano ewoho. The entire list. Kura factory no waso their factory no ye ni nyina are available. We put all out there for everybody to go and read and appraise yourself with what is happening. And so this is the breakdown of this in all no 1D 1F are buying shares here ye nyan wie ye mpo afi na ya mu be ye fape no and name no ka say direct employment about 25,000, indirect employment about 144,000. Direct employment ne bi ne se bi wo accountant, ebi wo ha operations manager, machine operator, obi wo ha marketing person, omo no moye direct. Indirect ones so say e confuse juice ene okọ confuse a omo a me na okase ade asa so te ne share da se e wo ne pineapple farm po ne doso because ade achi a e confuse juice for e beto pineapple no na e confuse juice e chim pineapple no e de aye juice ni aton bi wo Ghana ni e de bi kwa abrochire ene okọ Walmart shop bi emu wo America obekọ na e confuse juice esi ho a ye ton. NDC tried selling Eti boka Commander Sugar Factory. Commander Sugar Factory da NDC for year no. Omo asi factory no mo anso, omo say good factory no. Factory o si ewie a on operate ye no. E na osan de osan pekwan bi aton. Factory a wo si, wo operate ye. Ense na wo pekwan bi so ayeden aton no. I don't know what is it about them and Eton. And that's why when I hear them talk about state capture, I find it laughable. Me, I don't even listen to them. Me say we pe party on my bomb mind we via on my way Japade in Sase, Adan, factories are factories, companies are companies. Are there yakwan say, and yes, almost for the keke, say be almost the ma ordinary Ghanaians, almost ton more and NDC, almost ton 350 factories. And they are fair na buy a bar. Ye ne Ghana for akabo mu a ye pekwan bi afa so a ye betumi asanyama ye industrial base na